like Louisiana legend Britney Spears. Oops, the Saints did it again. This is That Saints Pod. I'm the Patty V. We got Big Easy Nation over here, Mr. Jacob. We got Dave Rainey behind the camera again over there. I don't know if you can see him. We got a beautiful screen here in front of us we can see. And we have a special guest tonight. We got Miles Boudreaux. Say hello, man.
How y'all doing, man? This dude is fun. That was funny. That was real funny. I wasn't ready for that.
No?
That was good.
Some would say we're stronger than yesterday. We left a toxic relationship behind. Jesus. Yeah. There's probably a few more we could do, but I'm gonna let it be. I'm gonna let it simmer. You guys aren't lucky enough. Oh man. Hopefully you guys are here for the Saints, not Britney Spears, because that's what we're gonna talk about. Oh man. Saints coming off another victory. We had a great week last week. We're going to dive into all things. I'm not going to guide this show, though. I'm going to throw it over to Dave Rainey. He does a great job of kind of guiding us. I know we got a lot of things we're going to talk about, kind of recap, talk about next week, probably hit on a lot of other Saints stuff. So have at it, man.
All right. Starting off with a simple question to begin this conversation. Number one, how shocked are we that this is how the first 2 weeks have gone? And not necessarily week one, because we kind of expected that as the Panthers. How shocked are you that we just did what we did to, for all intents and purposes, a good Cowboys team? Go ahead, Miles. You can go first.
And let me just tell you this. I wasn't expecting them to whip the Panthers, even if the Panthers sucked. They left a really nasty taste in my mouth last year. We lost Jameis. I know he's not like some elite quarterback in the league, but he's a locker room guy for all intents and purposes. Let's say that. And it was so many questions, and I wasn't really sure how this O-line sticks up. And Panthers, they have some good D linemen. Now one of them got hurt in that game, so that definitely played a factor. But I was like, hey, this might be a decent game to see where the Saints are at. We should win, but I wasn't expecting like us to win by a lot of points or even win at all. Honestly, year two Bryce Young, I was having a little bit more hope for him and his team. But hey, I'm happy that the Saints got that blowout. I think it was really good that they got that. And week 2 versus the Dallas Cowboys, I'm not gonna say the amount of profanity that I do on Twitter on here, but let's just say I hate the Cowboys and I don't like their fan base. So I was really hoping that we killed the Cowboys. Even if we suck, I would think that we kill the Cowboys just because I have a good enough amount of hatred in my blood for the Cowboys. And I think a lot of people do in New Orleans because Cowboy fans, Jerry, that whole and all that trash talk. You just is like, you got to handle business because at some point you got to be a man about it. At some point you got to represent your city. So I wasn't surprised about us beating the Cowboys, but funny enough, I was more surprised that we beat the Panthers because just sort of like the Pelicans. I talk about the Pelicans all the time. When it comes to beating a team you're supposed to beat, bad teams don't beat them. Our good teams that aren't good enough don't beat them, I should say. So yeah, this has been sort of a roller coaster of 2 weeks, but I'm very excited for where the Saints are.
Shit, I don't even know where to go. We just gotta go ahead.
Last podcast we were doing our predictions. I think I said 34-31. You said, what did you say? Another 27-24, something like that?
Can't even ask me about 10 minutes ago. Don't ask me about last week.
But I was not expecting 44-19 in Dallas.
Yeah. No, I wasn't either. And you make a good point too, Miles. And it's probably isn't even on our sheet to talk about. But I saw a tweet. I forget who it was. Media guy. I know who it was. Skip Bayless's goofy ass talking about how this was the Saints Super Bowl. Basically, he didn't say it like that, but this is your biggest rival. You beat them. Something along those lines. I'm paraphrasing. And I'm like, come on now. Like, yes, to your point, Miles. Like, yeah, if there's a 1A or a second place in this whole hate thing when it comes to being a Saints fan, it is the Dallas Cowboys. But the Atlanta Falcons, who are coming to town in 2 weeks, or not coming to town, we're going to them. That's one. So just want to call that out as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. Congrats to the Saints, who would rather beat the Cowboys, especially in Dallas, than any team on their schedule, was what he said.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if he remembered we go to Atlanta in 2 weeks, but
yeah.
Sure.
I did see that tweet.
Yeah. Completely ridiculous. Go ahead, Jacob.
I'd rather beat Kansas City in Kansas City than beat Dallas in Dallas.
Listen.
That's fair.
Like,
that
would put us more on, everyone else will notice about us.
Yeah. So that's a good question too, Dave. I'm just totally overtaking you. Feel free to jump back in. Speaking of that, a lot of people called this Dennis Allen's like defining victory, right? I mean, do you look at it like that, or is there another team on the schedule? You mentioned Kansas City. Is there somebody else that you look at and you say, hey, that will be?
There's a lot of games that are, big games like Philadelphia Sunday.
For sure.
That'll be another one.
For sure.
Yeah. I mean, to this point, it's definitely his, not even like his Saints signature win. It may be his signature win of his whole coaching career, like head coaching career.
Oh yeah. I'll take it. Give me more. Give me. That's right.
That's such a crazy thing to say because it's like, yeah, that's definitely true. Each win he's had has been his next best win. That's just how it's been because they've just been phenomenal victories. You dominated everything and you got a city that had hatred in their heart, and for some not hatred, but a lot of people despise the Saints. They were not, supportive of the direction of the organization, but where the players were at, who he signed. Some people didn't trust Chase Young signing. Everybody's like, why didn't we get a quarterback in the draft? Go get Jaden Daniels. All these things that people are saying. And the Saints come out this year and they just, put belt to ass to, put it nicely. They do exactly what the Saints are supposed to do. Nasty defense, just nasty. And then you got Derek Carr looking like the best version of himself every single throw. Because when we got Derek Carr, I was like, hey, not the biggest fan of him, but I've seen him make phenomenal deep ball throws. So if he has any type of time in the pocket and he has a receiver that can go get it, Derek Carr is that type of quarterback to make that type of pass. So it's just phenomenal seeing him be put in the best position to succeed.
It's crazy. That's all it took was getting Clint Kubiak.
Yeah.
On the team.
Magic
Literally.
Man.
That's all it took.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a note here. I put Derek Carr serving up dots, and I'm not talking about the diner. I was on one today. I'm letting you know. But yeah, I agree, man.
So like with all that being said, are we buying the hype 2 weeks into the season, or are you still like, I need a little more?
I need to see a little bit more.
Definitely.
Before you just jump right in.
What more do you need to see, truthfully? I'm just curious. Consistency. So just keep doing this week over week.
Keep doing it.
Yeah. I think
I was just saying I completely agree because, great teams are durable and they're consistent. That's what makes a great team. So you go week by week, you beat a good Dallas Cowboys or garbage Dallas Cowboys, whatever you want to say. They still have elite talent on that D line versus our O line that has been surprising the hell out of everybody. Can the Saints do that versus the Eagles? I tweeted about it because I'm pretty sure the Eagles still have Fletcher Cox, correct?
Correct.
Yes. Yeah, and they still have what's his name? Jalen Williams, the big guy from Georgia. Is that his name?
Jalen Carter, yeah.
Jalen Carter. He's a big body. They still have a decent D line in front seven, if I remember correctly. So another test for that offensive line and that offense. If they can put up points, then I think we might be seeing a new regime, at least in this year with Clint Kubiak, of the Saints' reign of terror in the NFC, or you should say the entire NFL.
Yeah, I want to see. This is kind of weird to say because I don't ever want to see them. It'd be nice to not have to go through some adversity, right? I want to see how this team plays when they're down in a game because we haven't seen that yet. Definitely. I want to see this team go down by 10 points, right, and have to play from behind. Because right now, you give a Dennis Allen defense a 2-touchdown lead, that might be game over, especially this defense. If Dennis Allen can just do what he wants to do on defense and just start turning it up, that's a wrap for anybody. So I want to see how this team has to play from behind, or when the running game's not going as smooth as it's been going, can Derek Carr just carry us with the passing game and things like that? I want to see those kind of things play out. Also, how does this team travel when they have to go outdoors? So far, we've played 2 indoor games. The offense, that doesn't seem like a lot, but it can make a difference, right? When you go to Kansas City, can this offense do that outdoors in the weather and things like that? I had, everything is flowing pretty well right now, but I want to know what you think what they can do better. Is there anything you've seen that you think they can do better? Because it feels perfect through 2 games, but there's got to be something they can improve on, right? They got to be sitting in the film room looking for something. So what do you think they can improve on?
2-minute defense driving me nuts. Playing it's the aggressiveness. It's not even it's not necessarily the execution. I think it's Dennis Allen. It's the play calling in the last 2 minutes of the half for these last two games. It feels like we're just handing them field goals. We're like, here you go. Just go ahead, drive down the field. We don't care. We'll play soft. We'll let you get down the field. We'll let you get some points, maybe get some confidence going into half. I don't like that. I think that can bite you in the butt moving forward. Granted, they had big leads, so it doesn't matter. But I think if you play soft to close out halves and teams score and then get the ball back, that's a massive swing in something like a 10-point game as opposed to a 20-point game. Like, changes everything.
Jacob?
Oh, I agree. I really can't think of much else other than that.
You got anything, Miles? It's tough.
Yeah, for me, I think just playing so aggressive, and everybody knows when you play aggressive, you run the risk of big plays happening, whether that be 30-plus yards or just, a 10-plus yard gain. I'm very okay with it if we're up like we are, but versus a Patty Mahomes, are you going to give that much cushion for somebody to walk you down and make it a game? So that's something that I'm sort of worried about because I checked the schedule, and I think if they're going to play like this, we should do phenomenal this season. 2 games versus the Falcons. Let's see how we do versus the Bucs. But yeah, I'm not, and I don't think our secondary is not capable of doing that. I just think sort of like you said, scheme. Are they going to scheme a little bit more conservative when need be? So you're not letting a team build confidence and go into, the next half feeling like, hey, we're starting to understand how to play this team. So let's get the ball rolling now.
Do you think they're kind of along the same lines? Do you think there's any positions of weakness that they need to improve on? Like if they're going to go on a run, do you think there's any position groups that seem weak at all that you think they need to make a move? Because if you're this good, I feel like you got to go for it, right? Like it seems wide open in the NFC through 2 weeks. So is there anything you'd like to see them do to just really, just to go for it and make this team elite?
I think you could always bolster the defensive line, but I think that the big one that people probably call out is you need just a big play, not a big play, but a big body wide receiver, which maybe you get with A.T. Perry when he's healthy. Was he healthy or was he a healthy?
He was a healthy scratch.
That's a bummer. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe
I'd
something like that.
Maybe another running back whenever. Hopefully, Kendry Miller comes back healthy. Yeah, definitely somebody else behind AK and
Jamal.
Yep.
I mean, you got Taysom back there too, basically playing running back, halfback, playing everything. Yeah. Went to the middle of a chest injury. They said, "Oh, you just got that dog in you. You're fine." Sorry, I'm on this weird mode tonight.
No, you're good. But Jamal Williams, he's been playing phenomenal. If he's going to keep going, north like that, then I'm not too worried about the running position. I like how they motion Taysom. They do fake passes to a power play with him, things of that nature. Getting a wide receiver in motion, giving him the ball. So I'm not really worried about running. I would just say you can always have more linemen, offense and defense. You never can go wrong with having a lineman that can put you in the best position possible for your athletic guys to go make points. We got the quarterback, but I do agree with hey, a big wide receiver would help. But I think that's what Jawan Johnson is to them right now. I think that's sort of what they want him to be is and I would probably say Foster Moreau, the way he's catching the ball, you got big bodies guys that can, get, 15 yards and catch a ball. So it's I don't want to say we don't have any weaknesses, but I'm not going to say that we don't have an option. We definitely have options.
Yeah. The weaknesses just haven't shown yet, right? They're going to come up and then you can address them. But you say big body receiver. I think you just need bodies at receiver, period. You need some kind of talent. You don't need another Olave or Shaheed, but you need somebody better than Cedric Wilson. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. As the third. Yeah. Because you're one injury away from either one of those guys. If they get hurt, the drop off is significant to the third guy. Even with A.T. Perry in there, he can't do what those two guys can do. And then, but I don't know what the numbers would say, but eye test watching the game, it only seems like they're lining 2 receivers up at a time most of the time. And then Miles is saying, sometimes it seems like all 3 tight ends out there, Juwan, Foster, and then I'm counting Taysom.
Yeah.
It seems like they're using all 3 of those guys and then just the 2 receivers. but I wonder if that's because of the receivers they have or if that's just how the scheme is going to go.
Can I be biased for a second?
Yeah.
I interviewed him, but I would not be mad with Mason Tipton out there as like a slot guy, and the more I see him, the more that I'm comfortable with like him being sort of like that Tom Brady, Julian Edelman type of figure. Like get in the middle of the field. Definitely he's going to catch the ball, get 3 yards after contact maybe. Just sort of like a slippery wide receiver that can really do it all. And like you said, A.T. Perry's there. I'm not sure what they're seeing out of him for him not to be getting, because I think we all as a Saints fan base was like, A.T. Perry can, be that sort of big target for us. He seems like he's capable and he's growing and learning. So I think wide receiver wise, I'm fairly confident in the guys that haven't got a lot of PT yet. But like you said, you can never go. That's a general thing in sports. You can just never go wrong with more talent. So we could say that for every position. Like I can be like, hey, you can't go wrong with having Lamar Jackson as your backup.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But no, definitely, I think if the Saints were to make a big free agent move, I don't have a name for you, but whether it's a lineman, offense or defense, or a big type of receiver, I'd be more than happy. And we haven't said this, but another linebacker. I think Demario Davis, he's looking phenomenal, but he still has that age on him. Pray nothing happens to him, but he does run risk of injury more, just statistically. So if something was to happen to any of our linebackers, do we have the depth there, to bring somebody in that's going to, still be a nasty dog on the field?
You were going to say something, Patty?
I had so many thoughts I was going to say, but I think he covered a lot of it. One, Mason Tipton has been earning some run. He was in on a lot of those crack tosses last week, blocking, which is definitely going to earn him some playing time. So he's already getting out there. You'll start to see that more. I think that may have been because Taysom was a little banged up. Two, that was my other concern, is that because you have so many vets, maybe deeper into the season, slowing down a little bit and having to grit this thing out. That's something that I look towards. So
yeah, I think to Jacob's point about Kendre, I think you need him to come back and be productive, because Alvin's been great, but you don't want Alvin to have this kind of workload 17 games, right? Like you want to be able to lean on Kendre and get Alvin some rest, assuming Kendre comes, because we've seen him be good before. Mm-hmm. So assuming he can do that, you need somebody that can give Alvin a break. And Jamal's just a different back, right? I'm not knocking Jamal saying he's not good. He's just not that kind of back. So you need Kendre, I think. Jacob, I know you wanted to talk about the defense. Specifically, do we have the best defense in the league?
I'd say so.
Why? Tell me more. Yeah.
Our front seven has been playing outstanding. Secondary's been, playing lights out.
Yeah.
Really nothing else.
Yeah. I mean, you plug another DB in at will every week, it feels like, and it doesn't really matter. So, yeah, I could see that. You got Will Harris looking like a dog out there all of a sudden, came from Detroit as like an average guy. And sorry, no disrespect to Will Harris. I mean, killing it.
Put a lick on CD.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. He's out there just knocking people in the dirt.
And we're not missing Justin Simmons.
You
want to come here and chose Atlanta.
You say Justin Simmons. I say you're not missing Marshawn, which is nuts.
Yeah, that was the craziest thing to me, is Marshawn didn't have to play and you still went out there and locked up, and that is huge.
Can I say my only concern, and I know he's been doing phenomenal, but I'm always concerned, depending on the scheme of the defense and how they react to maybe a play that's going downfield. Can Tyron Matthew hold up with a bigger receiver because of his size? And I know he's a dog. I always get sort of concerned as like, what if Tyron's in a situation where he's got to be a ball hawk? And I just don't think that's where he is right now in his career. And some might even say ever. He's really just been, some people might be like, hey, he's really just like a hard head safety, really just get dirty and knock somebody lights out. But he's never been like a true ball hawk of a secondary type of guy. So like, that's the only thing. Like if we're field goal, somebody's throwing, a fade and he's on them, I'm not the most confident. That's all I would say. But I think the way they're scheming Tyron it's been, to his benefit.
I think that they scheme him the way they should, and I'll just say he who shall not be named, right? If I can compare him to somebody, they're letting him just kind of roam around back there and play smart, gotcha style safety play. Dave, did it just click who I was talking about?
Yeah, I threw his number up. That way we don't have to say his name.
Oh, okay. Yeah, 42. Yeah, I'm not saying that dude's name. He's in jail for a reason. I think everybody knows who I'm talking about now. But no, and that's kind of how we schemed him. Like, we just let him be back there, be the vet he was. He could just pop up in random bait situations where he could be a ball hawk, right? You said Tyron's not really a ball hawk. I kind of disagree. I think he's smart enough to be one. He showed in his time at LSU and in his early years in the NFL that he could definitely be a ball hawk. I think maybe he's just been schematically in some weird situations. I am concerned about his size, but yeah, just letting him roam back there and just kind of play the Ed Reed role. I'll shout out Ed Reed, just be smarter than the quarterback and trick him into some stuff. Like, I'm all for that. He showed it last week. He was a little late on it because he's a little old now, but
he also
that's what I meant by by where he is in his career. He's just a older, not a small guy, but smaller guy than these, big receivers. Like, if Marvin Harrison Jr. is going on a fade, I'm not too confident that Tyron, even though I know Marvin Harrison Jr. is still a young bull, that's the guy that's going to get up.
Yeah.
Can Tyron get up?
But you got to imagine in that scenario, he's not the one on him.
You would hope.
No, right. That's what I'm saying. Like, scheme-wise, I think he'll probably be in that Will Harris position where he's like, somebody else is on him, but Tyron go, knock his face mask off his body. Like, that's what I would hope.
Yeah.
Circling back.
I'm just happy we're playing nasty football again. I love this.
Hell yeah.
I'm actually excited watching the Saints now.
Yeah, you can see it.
Just the offense.
They just have beside the offense, the defense just feels like they have some juice. And I think it's because the offense is getting them such a lead. Like I mentioned before, they're just getting the freedom to just go after people right now. And the defensive line is, I don't even know if Chase Young has a sack yet, but you could see him destroying every play. I had a thought that he's going to end up being the most impactful player on the defense, but he's going to have the worst stats. You know what I mean? Because he's getting to the quarterback so fast, but he's not actually making the sack, but it's disrupting the entire play, and you can see it every time.
Question mark?
Derek Carr.
What?
That's what I was about to bring that up. Through 2 weeks, we haven't really talked much about the offensive line, which is probably a good thing, right? That's what they say about the offensive line. If you're not saying their names, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But we got to shout out Trevor Penning.
Do we?
We just got to shout out the offensive line in general. You just went against one of the best defensive lines.
Did you see all
league.
the pancakes that game too?
Oh yeah,
a lot.
Channel Saints film room.
Yeah, for sure. I love Penning. I think Penning has really stepped up and proved that he deserves to be a starter on this team. But we got to kind of be honest with ourselves. We are definitely scheming him into some easier pass protections. Like, they are helping the SHIT out of him, making people run through mazes to get to the quarterback. Like, yes, he's there in front of the guy, but the guy's also getting chipped, and then he's finding a running back, and it's a little different. On run plays, phenomenal, and that's what I'm excited about with him. Is that they were talking about him like he couldn't even run block anymore coming into this year, and I was shocked. But yeah, I don't know if he's. I don't want to hate on the guy. I love that he's come so far, but I don't know if he's quite where we think he is past pro.
This is not about Trevor Penning, but one surprise on the O-line is Lucas Patrick.
Yeah.
Came from the Bears, by the way. Caleb could really use him right now.
Caleb could use everybody. Anything he could use. I mean, really, you just shouting out the O-line in general. I mean, that's
Cesar Ruiz when he was running, man.
Stride for stride.
Stride for stride.
That's ridiculous.
As a guy that played O-line before, that was an impressive run. Just knowing you got to keep going after that. Like, I was like, man, kudos to him.
I think Kamara plays a good bit into that too, because as a lineman, he's going to wait on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's going to downshift, let you go throw a block, so you can just run downfield and be nasty, and then to create a bigger play, which is awesome.
Yeah,
I would love that.
Fuaga's out there looking like a 10-year vet already,
right.
Playing a position he never played. Shout out to Baldy. He does the breakdowns, the Baldy breakdowns. He said he's the second coming of Willie Roaf.
Ooh.
So what a comparison there. Yeah. Also, tough day for the Alvin is washed crowd.
Yeah.
All right. So we've been going for a little while talking. Anything else y'all want to talk about week 2 in the Dallas game before we move on to preview and Philly?
I'm just going to shout out. I don't know if you believe in PFF.
If it helps my thoughts, then yes.
Okay. This is just doubling down on some of the things we already talked about. Lucas Patrick's 97.2 overall rating.
It's like the first time I've seen a 97.
That's ridiculous. Eric McCoy, 92.2. So your top two are linemen. Demario Davis, 91.4. Chris Olave, 91.
Shout out to Chris.
Derek Carr, 91. With an interception. Very impressive.
Okay, hold on. How does Alvin have a 4-touchdown game and he's not? Like,
good question.
That's where my PFF criticisms come into play. I'm like, this dude just scored 4 touchdowns and had did he make a mistake? I don't think so. So
I'm a young guy, so I would probably ask for the Madden ratings. But they should be all 90s. We should be like when Drew Brees was on the cover and he was playing with the Saints on Madden. Like, you could go to the Saints team, you look at the roster, you're just like, wow, this team's got everything you want.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, moving on. Saints take on Philly, who's coming off a brutal loss to Atlanta last night.
Just got walked down like a dog.
Yep.
It was rough.
Yep. So they take on Philly. No A.J. Brown, it seems like. He says he's probably out a couple of weeks. So no A.J. Brown. What are the keys to beating Philly?
Let's go first.
Go ahead, Jacob.
Oh, no turnovers. Nothing dumb.
Okay.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Can't overlook them.
If Jacob gave like pregame speeches, they would be so straightforward. His team would play no games. No turnovers, score the ball, win the game.
Listen, the team that scores more is going to
be
win
like
the
a
game.
John Madden preview.
Yeah.
Team colors black and white. That's it. We're just real footballers over here.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Team who scores more wins.
Yeah.
I think, and I'll let you guys jump in with your opinions. I'll just give my opinion based on history. I know a lot of people are talking about Saquon. A lot of people are talking about a couple other areas with that team. I'm just looking at Jaylen Herz, man. I go back to
DA's kryptonite. Right there.
I go back to every time we've played a mobile quarterback, and it just seems like no matter how they scheme, we just can't handle it. So I am interested to see how we scheme against this and if we can actually keep him in the pocket. I think based off of last week, what I saw, if you just throw a rush at him, like an extra blitzer or two, if you can come at him with a Lante or something, he's going to give you the ball. I mean, you saw it at the end of the game, but I'm curious if we can actually do that. That's my worry.
And, to add on to that, because I tweeted something along those lines, the Saints have always struggled versus mobile quarterbacks. I remember that Jaylen Herz first start that he just, got real surgical with this and just getting out of the pocket, being able to throw the ball, making, the extra run to get a first down. Are we able to contain him? I think we have a different D-line. And so I forgot who commented on that post that I did, but they were like, hey, we've got Cam Jordan inside now. He's never been the most quick guy. We've got some guys, Chase Young and Granderson.
And really good to be able to help out with that too.
And yeah, Willie Gay, he's a phenomenal. He's got some. He could get top speed with somebody. I think just the way our defense is made up, the fabric of the defense is sort of made to be able to contain a quarterback with some speed. And when they do come out of the pocket, if they don't slide, they might never see the light of day again. So I'm pretty excited to see if Jaylen Herz is willing to risk his football career leaving that pocket, because it looks like we back to the good old days of knocking somebody's helmet off.
Yeah, the last time Jaylen Herz played against the Saints was 2021, because we played them last year, but they had Minshew because Hertz was out. He only threw for 147 yards, but he had 18 carries for 69 yards.
Yeah.
And 3 touchdowns. So there's that. But also, this isn't the same Eagles O-line. Like, they're still solid, but like they're missing Jason Kelce, and that matters.
Definitely.
It doesn't seem like it matters for Saquon, because that dude looks like maybe the best running back in the league right now. I think it starts there.
Containing both of them.
Yeah, I'm gonna just say the running game in general, because that includes Jaylen Herz and Saquon. Like, you can't just overlook Saquon right now.
Yeah,
definitely. And I think that's just what I will say. That's DeMario's specialty. Like, he's a run stopper more than, in my opinion, a pass coverage type of linebacker. He's just a smart guy. He reads the hips of the lineman, and he gets into the space that he's supposed to get into. And the leader that he is, and having another leader like Tyron Matthew, like we said, he's schematically put in the right positions. this team might really bring the fire. And I'm excited to see hopefully Alante get another sack this game because I think that'll really get this team going.
Yeah. I mean, as far as the Eagles defense, I don't know about y'all, but I don't fear this Eagles defense whatsoever.
Especially after that game yesterday.
I'm going right at Zach Bond every play.
Right at Chauncey.
Right at CD. Yep.
I forgot they had CD.
Yeah, they're the 5th worst passing defense in the league right now.
Really?
And, yeah, 5th worst passing defense, and 8th worst rushing defense. So they're bottom of the league on defense in both areas.
It's kind of crazy considering their front seven. I mean, they got a few holes like Zach Bond. I know he was a great pass rusher week 1, but like not a great anything outside of that.
Yeah, and they play. So they played Jordan. They played the Packers week 1, which should be a good offense with Jordan Love. But I mean, the Falcons' offense isn't necessarily anything to write home about. I
don't know. People are really loving them some Falcons right now, just talent wise, and they think their defense is phenomenal. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if it stands the test of time. I haven't seen it. Like watching last week, I don't know if I was watching two teams struggle or if it was just like I don't know. I was very confused by what I was watching last night.
Is Kirk Cousins hurt?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So, yeah. They lost to a hurt Kirk Cousins?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Just, I don't know, just watching 2 games of the Eagles because they've had 2 primetime games. So, like, they've been the focus on my TV when they've been on the first 2 weeks. They just don't necessarily look like a really good football team right now. Like, they could very easily turn it around, in 1 week. But like thus far, they don't look like the Eagles that have been feared for the last few years, in my opinion. But like I'm not just overlooking them. I feel like Dallas felt like a bigger challenge than the Eagles do right now.
Wow.
So are we saying all we have to do is contain Saquon and Jaylen Herz, and it should be a fairly, I'm not going to say easy, but we shouldn't be surprised at a win if we're able to, contain one of them.
What do you think?
I think it's going to be deeper than that. I mean,
I think it's going to be a pretty tough game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a little tighter than that. I think Devontae Smith is phenomenal. I mean,
and then they got Goddard too.
Yeah.
So containing him.
Tolbert was last week. It was a guy that just John Dotson. I mean, they got some guys. Yeah, they got some guys even without AJ. I think that it's still matchup wise, like going to be a good game, right? There's talent on talent. I think it comes down to Hurts. That's my opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think I fear Jalen Hurts' legs more than anything he can do through the air.
Some of those runs last night too against Atlanta, like pretty impressive.
Yeah,
just I don't know. They got one really good receiver, and the way the secondary has been playing, the way they just shut down a better receiver in CeeDee Lamb, it doesn't concern me. Do I think we're going to win by 30? I'll never say that because that's unrealistic to do that 3 times in a row. But would you be surprised if it happened again?
Yes. Yeah, I'll stand on that one. I would.
I wouldn't be surprised if they got 30. I'd be surprised if they got 30 in the first half again.
I said win by 30.
No, he said win by 30. Yeah. If they score 30, fine.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so do they hit the 40-point mark for the 3rd week in a row?
Oof. No.
I think they do.
Yeah. Crazy. Wild man.
You said they got a weak secondary, huh?
They do. And they have CD playing safety. Come on. No.
I think they got a couple guys that look like me at cornerback. So do with that information with, what you will.
Hey, he got some run last game, okay?
But can you run versus Shaheed?
He is like one of the fastest guys in the league, I think.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
Cooper Cooper.
Yeah, I feel like 35 feels like the sweet spot this week.
Yeah.
I think if you get 30, I think you win.
Okay.
So if it's a shootout, we win.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't see this defense getting to a shootout. Not with this team.
Yeah. I'll stand on that. I don't think the defense allows it. I think if it's going to be more of the offense struggling than it actually being a shootout.
Yeah.
If Jalen Hurts is the reason they win and it's by his legs, he's going to die in that uniform.
Probably.
I mean, all respect to Jalen Hurts, but like he's not somebody I fear getting into a shootout with. As far when I think shootout, I'm thinking like a passing game, So it is different because he can beat you with his legs. But like I'm not looking at him where I'm looking at Mahomes and I'm like, all right, this defense don't matter. This dude is one of one, and he can do whatever he wants because he's who he is. I don't fear Jalen Hurts like that.
And I think we go back to saying, what you said first, which is the turnover battle. And I think the Saints are just going to do a better job at that. Granted, if Derek Carr is playing flawless like he is, hopefully no interceptions or any, dumb plays like that. But I think the Saints defense are going to be able to create more turnovers than the Philadelphia Eagles are. And I think that's probably going to, make or break whoever wins that game.
Yeah. I don't know. That's my take is I don't fear Jaylen Herz the way others do. I think.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's going to walk you down like Patrick Mahomes or even like Kirk Cousins did last week. But I think that it goes back to the last game that you called out. That stat line was ugly, but it counted, and like you get third and shorts, you get all these like nasty situations where you're playing nasty football and they grind it out, they control the clock, and he's going to get out of the pocket and just get that first down, and it's just annoying. But also, and you win like that.
That's 2021. You want to take a guess on who the Saints starting quarterback was that game?
Andy Dalton.
Trevor Siemian.
Stop lying.
And you're running Mark Ingram. Your second leading rusher that game was Trevor Siemian with 60 yards. And then you got Dwayne Washington and Tony Jones. Like,
you're going to make me throw up.
Yeah, this is not the 2021 Saints, So I'm like, I don't know. I'm not as concerned about it as
2009.
Maybe I just got a big head right now after these first 2 weeks. Because listen, I'm putting all my faith in Clint Kubiak until I'm shown otherwise.
Go for it.
That's all I had written down. If y'all want to do anything, I know you like to do your Lanyap section, Patty. So
that's on Wave Watch, babe.
Oh, listen, we do a lot of content around here. It's hard to keep up with what's where.
Yeah, we can.
It don't matter. Whatever you want to do.
What's that about?
Wave Watch? You don't know what Wave Watch is? So Wave Watch is our Tulane Green Wave podcast, probably coming out same time as this. So if you like football, catch both of them. You'll see me on both. Probably see Dave on both too. How do you want to close it out? I don't know how to finish this thing. How do you finish a podcast, guys?
I don't know, Miles. How do you finish this?
Usually I just say, I don't know. Wow. I'm new to this. I'm trying to learn from y'all right now.
No, I'm just messing. I'm just fooling, man.
Britney Spears quote?
What we normally do on this is we normally call out an anytime touchdown score from this upcoming week. For the Saints game is how we've been doing it. I have been wrong both times. But yeah, anybody want to start? Kick us off? Anytime touchdown score for next week's game against the Eagles.
Can I ask a question real quick? Is this supposed to be somebody that might that's not a guaranteed touchdown, or is it supposed to be just anybody?
I took Alvin week 1.
Yeah, it could be whoever you want.
I'm about to say because it makes. Never mind. I'm gonna let you go.
If you like betting the odds, maybe pick somebody that you're not expecting. Yeah. Listen, last week I said Taysom Hill, and before the game, I actually bet that he would score 2 touchdowns, and then Alvin Kamara was the one who went off. I just chose wrong. So yeah, I think this week I'm going Saquon. It's just too easy. That's what I'm doing.
I'll say Saints defense.
Ooh.
Say Saints.
Let
me get Juwan Johnson.
Oh,
like that.
Like it.
Damn. I'm gonna say Jamal Williams.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where my brain went to.
I'm thinking of the people that feel due. Like originally I said Chris Olave, but because he got close this week, like within inches. And he does feel due, but I'm going to stick with Saints defense.
I think Foster Moreau is a sneaky pick too. You said Juwan, but like
I was debating between the two.
Is he 2 for 2?
He should have been 2 for 2. That's what I'm getting at. And I think they always draw one up for him. We'll see.
Can I say this? If Rashid Shaheed gets another pass like he has the first 2 games for a touchdown, like just passing up everybody, going 30, 40 plus yards, then I'm probably going to talk the most, crap on Twitter for probably the rest of the season.
Yes.
He was on, we can wrap this up, but he was on Kay Adams' show today, and she had Devontae Adams join at the same time. And I think Devontae gave a stat that Shaheed has 10 touchdowns of over 50 yards in his career.
Yeah.
Which is just nuts.
Diabolical.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been circling Twitter. I think he's like second in the last however many years to one person, Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, well, that was Devontae's point. He's like, right now, Shaheed's getting the early Tyreek Hill love where it's just speed.
Yeah.
But like, look more at his game and see he can run routes and all that. He also gave a lot of love to the Saints coaching staff. He said he's playing for the best coach in the world, and I'm not sure who he's talking about.
Come on down, bro.
Yeah.
Come on.
He just said best coach in the world. He didn't say who it was. He just said you play for the best coach in the world.
Love it.
So we need a big body receiver.
That's what I'm saying.
This year, though, we'd have to get him this year.
Yeah. Oh, listen, Vegas keeps sucking. He's going to find a way out of there. Don't you worry. Come week 8 or whenever the trade deadline is.
Dope.
I gotta go to sleep. You're not gonna make me go to sleep if I get this hype.
That's fair. Wrap us up, Patty.
All right, cool. Appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Check us out again next week. Obviously, follow us everywhere. Follow at Be in the Know. Follow at Big As Your Nation everywhere. Instagram, Twitter. Follow Miles at Miles Boudreaux. Boudreaux is exactly how you would spell it. He also goes by Saint. So you can call him Saint too, you know. Don't follow me or Dave. You can follow at Who Effing Knows though, or at Brew Bros. And that's it. That's all I got. Until next time. Who dat?
It's Brittany.